Happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome into the Gramlich and McLean podcast presented by Ingles, the official supermarket of Gramlich and McLean. Emergency pod. Mac, tell the people why we're releasing another episode, why we're having an emergency pod.
Oh, I don't know if you want me to tell them the real reason or a pretend reason that I'm going to make up right here.
Just say we scheduled kind of accidentally, but we scheduled 2 interviews this week. And so we thought, you know what? We thought maybe we'd save one for next week, but then we thought, no. The people want the content now.
They need more. They need more stuff. Here's the deal, just to really peel back the curtain for everybody. So on sometimes the week before, it just depends, because you don't want to be a distraction saying, hey, next week, these people have a game to play, these staffs and players and all this stuff. But sometimes you get out in front of it a little bit. Then there's other times, most of the time, I'll shoot out a text Saturday night or Sunday morning to various SIDs, football staff saying, hey, we would like to talk to so-and-so this week because we think your game's very important, very big, and would love to have them come on Wednesday. And so there are times where it's a little too up in the air and it's like, oh, we got to check schedules. And I get it. Listen, we both, KG and I, have lived this life and it is hard. There's a lot of different factors that go into this. But when I get an answer like that, I'm like, oh gosh, what do we do? Because we have been burned before where you don't get the guest and then you're like in limbo. You don't know what to do. Call up an emergency friend and say, hey, we need you to jump on. And they jump on, or we do something else. So I thought that we were going to get close to that. And so we double booked. We doubled up. We got 2 guests. And instead of, like KG said, combining it into one or waiting, we're just giving the people what they want.
That's
more
right.
Football, more ACC football, specifically my Tigers, Kelly's Tigers, because we're back. We're back, baby. Let's do this. Maybe not quite, but it's still fun to talk about.
Back to bowling.
Back to the future. Back to the future.
And maybe, weeks. We said this before Notre Dame game, that 9 wins were still on the table for Clemson and still very much on the table for this team.
Absolutely. Great year, great season. So anyway, to celebrate that in these 2 games that Clemson has been on the absolute tear, we have a friend, Tyler Brown. Have never spoken to him in person. I think I dapped him up at practice one time because I was like, oh, 6, you look like you're going to be a good player. What's up, man? Needless to say, he's Clemson's best wide receiver right now. So we're bringing him on the podcast. Very impressive young man. Very thoughtful answers. KG, you bring this up at one point in the interview here. Absolutely loved it. So Ross Taylor, big shout out. Thank you for making this happen. And of course, Tyler Brown, with your busy schedule, making some time for us. I know how it is, brother. Freshman year, everybody's pulling on. You got to go 100 different ways. And this dude's balling right now at a super high rate. So love this interview. Before we get to it, here's a quick message from our friends over at Engles.
This is so beautiful. I don't know how you do it. We just got this pipe from Ingles.
Well,
Fire! It's on fire! All right, move it or lose it, people. Get the cranberry sauce.
We manage.
Happy Thanksgiving from Ingles.
Tyler Brown, touchdown Tyler Brown, that is. Excuse me. Let me introduce you the correct way. Always great talking with you, man. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Eric, man. Glad to be here.
It's going to be a fun conversation. I've been waiting on this one. I've kind of been waiting for my Tigers to get to this game and next week. We're really excited about, obviously, as Clemson Tigers and games we focus on. North Carolina, South Carolina. We really want to dominate that, but kind of want to start with you, man, because you're a true freshman. All of this is brand new and crazy. What has it been like just to be a freshman and competing and obviously adding to this team very quickly?
Definitely an adjustment, man. At this level, definitely way different from high school. Speed is my skill, one of my best skills. Everyone at the next level is pretty fast, if you ask me. So you really got to get down to the details and just really adjust to the program and just, which wasn't hard because it's the Clemson Tiger program is, as you know, is one of the best out there. So fit in very perfectly, and I just glad to be in the place I am.
Tyler, when you first got to Clemson and maybe going through your first fall camp, did you foresee this kind of role for yourself this season? Did you think maybe you'd take a little more of a secondary role? What did you expect going into your first year?
I wouldn't say I really had any expectations. I stayed deep in my prayer. Just praying for my opportunity, and God put that on my plate, and I took advantage of it as much as I can. He got me places right now that I didn't might have not thought I would have been before the season, but I'm here now, and I'm just glad to be there.
But during summer, I kept seeing number 6 show up, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
who the heck is this guy? And
Right.
what is he all about? Talk to a couple of coaches, they're like, oh, this guy's got it. He's got some speed. He's got a chance. So when I guess kind of to follow on KG's question a little bit, when did you know, like, hey, I can play, I can hang out, or I can hang with these guys and make some plays?
Definitely in those practices, man. Just one on ones and team on team. I just feel like I matched up well against guys at the next level, and I just felt comfortable in my role. Like I probably feel the most comfortable I've ever played in my life, just
Mm.
because how close I've gotten with God, I would say, and just how far along He's brought me in my game, and just to play freely. And right now, I'm playing as free as ever.
You are a local kid. You're from Greenville. I live in Greenville, by the way. Shout out. So, did
Oh
you
yeah,
grow up a Clemson fan? Did you grow up wanting to go to Clemson? What did it feel like when you got that Clemson offer?
yeah, man. Fresh out the womb, it was purple and orange. So I'm die hard, man. I think my pops might have been more excited than me when Dad sat that off on the table. Yeah, he was in there, man. I think we might have shed a tear that day, man. But
Wow.
yeah, it was unbelievable. Dad took me in his office, gave him one of his speeches, laid the offer on the table. It took everything in me not to commit right there on the spot. I think it was only because I was pretty speechless, but very blessed.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Mm.
I know what that feeling's like, and especially a place that you grew up wanting to be a part of, and now you are at such, again, a high level, man. It's a lot of fun to see, and just your play is it's inspiring and it's fun to see. You can see that passion, that it's more than just a game to you. Like, it is a lifestyle, and this is something that
Right.
your family loves and you love. All these different things. Let's talk about the team a little bit right here, because
Mhm.
I do think, obviously, being a younger guy, you have a unique perspective, but also being a fan, we're all fans, in some perspective too. You kind of have a great, grasp on the history and what this program is used to doing, especially since you've been 6 years old, as you like to remind me, as we got this thing going here. Um, Take me into the locker room, take me into the meeting rooms of Notre Dame week, because it felt like something switched. It felt
Mhm.
like there was either a different focus, a new focus, a sense of urgency. And not to say that you didn't start with that, but I think it was visible from outsiders that aren't in that program that something did change, and you guys are playing at obviously a high level right now.
Right. So not the ideal start to the season that we wanted to have, and everyone knows that. But we sticking together in there, man. Notre Dame week, Dabo comes in Monday. All right, we gotta turn this up a notch. He challenges everyone, staff, players, just do what you gotta do. Like, handle business. Like, we gotta go back to the old Tiger way. So great preparation that week, great focus, great attention to detail. You know, on Saturday we went out there and handled business. I feel like we all needed that little push from Coach Swinney, which is what he's best at. He hasn't got
Yeah.
to coach like this in a long time because he's always winning. But he brought out that hard love on us, and it worked out for the best.
So obviously it did work, and you guys, again, 2 games in a row playing at a high level. Have you seen other guys maybe take another step? And I'm not saying you have to call anybody out by name, but have you seen maybe a refocus, or just guys more in the film room or after practice, whatever it is? Because proof's in the pudding, right? If you do all that and then you still
Mhm.
lose, it's like, well, whatever. But you didn't. You dominated, and you've dominated 2 games in a row now.
Right. I mean, yeah, the focus is there, man. Like, I wouldn't say the focus wasn't there at the beginning of the season. I would just say that we could have done more. Like, we left a lot out there. Like,
Mhm.
but you know, we got a great senior class, man, and these boys deserve to go out with a bang. So we're gonna do everything in our power to make sure they win these last couple ones for sure.
Well, let's talk about last week with Georgia Tech, because that was a game where it felt like you guys really put it all together and just blew out a team that was coming in playing pretty good football. And specifically your catch, Tyler, and you know exactly what catch I'm talking about, the OBJ catch in the end zone from Cade Klubnik. I have 2 questions for you. Number 1, take me through that catch, and then tell me about your relationship with Cade.
Okay, for sure. Actually, the play, I wasn't even designed to run a route that play. I was supposed to clear
So you
out
know
the
what's
smoke.
funny about that? I just for some reason saw a blown up view of it. You weren't
Mhm.
even you were a dummy. I mean, you weren't even in the play. You were a distraction. You weren't even in the play.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just like that's just kind of the chemistry Cade have at this point. I see him. I see Bo not open on the slant, so I see him. I see him rolling out the pocket. So I'm gonna run with him. I want him to feel comfortable with just finding me in situations like that. So I want to make him look good as much as I can, as much as he does me, like with the pass he throws. So I roll out with him. I point up. He gives me a chance, and rest is history.
Yeah, the
What were
rest
you
is
thinking?
history.
What were you thinking? Because I mean, that's a tough catch. I
Give me
mean,
the ball.
obviously, you're looking at the ball, and there's a great shot of it where you see eyes, hands, feet, the whole deal. I mean, what are
Right.
you thinking when that ball's in there, and you're like, I've got to like go up with one right here?
Yeah, actually, I was like I do remember like having the thought process before, like, okay, so the guy, the way he was on me, like guarding me, I had to like kind of push him off, and I couldn't really get both hands on it, so I was like, all right, the only way I'm gonna get this is with one hand, so I'm not gonna just not go for it. So threw the arm out, I work on my hand-eye coordination every day after practice with the tennis balls, man. It just all felt perfect. It just went in my hand, just stuck to it like glue. And I actually didn't think I thought I might have got not have got a foot in, but watching the replay, it just felt so good just seeing all my boys go crazy on that sideline.
I bet so. Yeah, it was a heck of a play. Maybe the play of the year so far offensively for Clemson, Tyler. And it feels like now you guys are rolling. You have the Notre Dame win, which Mac was talking about. I feel like that was a huge week for y'all. And then last week, maybe the most complete game. So going into North Carolina, going into South Carolina, I know since you grew up orange and purple, you understand what the South Carolina game means and the North Carolina game,
Right.
actually. Clemson fans low-key hate North Carolina. It's kind of a
Right.
thing. So what do you think you guys can do? What's the mindset heading into these last two games?
I mean, Coach Swinney emphasizes, man, we don't have to be superheroes, man. Just do what we do and attention to detail, great preparation. I mean, I don't think we really have to do anything different from what we've been doing. I mean, we got the ball rolling a little bit, stick together in that locker room, and just execute. That's going to be big for us these next couple of weeks. So
Yeah. Worry about yourself. I know that's one of his biggest things. And, don't let Clemson beat Clemson. That was our biggest thing in 2015 when, we made that run to the Natty. It was something that we paid a lot of attention to. And I'm sure that's similar deal here. I want to go to the defense for a second here because those young boys were balling. And there are a lot of guys in your class, maybe a couple in the class ahead of you, but still freshmen, got their opportunity and shine. I mean, is this something that you've seen every day in practice? Like you knew it was a matter of time? Or are these guys just, playing, just kind of steal your word? They're like superheroes when they do get their opportunity.
I'm not. These guys got it in them since day one. This defense, man, boy, I tell you that they deserve more wins than we have right now. Like that defense right there, I feel like one of, if not the best in the nation. That just our young guys on that defense alone are amazing. Not to mention our dominant defensive line. Like I feel like there's people that get afraid of the bright lights, and there's people that shine brighter. And that 23 class last Saturday, man, they just played their butts off. Everyone on defense played. The whole team played their butts off, man. But that defense, they always going to show up and show out, and just practicing it against them day in and day out. That really will boost your confidence on Saturdays.
I like how you said that 23 class because you're a part of that, and that class is doing big things right now for
Right.
Clemson.
27.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. However you want to look at it. However you want
Of
to look at it.
Of course, you're going to graduate college in 2027 because you are a child compared to Mac and I, which is, it's always humbling. It's humbling, and we appreciate it. Let's talk a little bit more about a guy who's a year older than you in Cade Klubnik and your relationship with him. You talked about how you want to make him look good. You guys had kind of that chemistry on that catch. Where did that start for you with Cade, and where do you think that relationship can go?
Honestly, just before the season, man. As soon as I got here, One of a kind type of leader, man. He loves winning. He loves winning, man. He's gonna put his heart out there day in, day out, extra work. He just you wanna get open for this guy. I would say,
Mm.
man. It's just his love for the game, his love for his teammates. You can't not love the guy, And it's just great to have someone like that throwing you the ball. It makes things a lot easier when y'all are just connected on and off the field.
What do you think his best attribute is as a quarterback?
Um, let's see. He has
Accuracy, skill set.
Yeah, I feel like he has one of a kind arm talent, man. He can put that
Yeah.
ball in places that I'd never like. In high school, I've had good quarterbacks, but I've never had like that elite 5-star type of talent in that backfield. So just seeing that first person is just amazing, and just
Yeah.
being able to catch passes from him. I'm just blessed to be in that situation.
Yeah, there's certainly some throws where we're just sitting there like, geez, like how the heck did that guy make it? I mean, it's going to be fun to see him continue to grow like he has been. I want to go to your coaches for a second here before we get you out of here, Tyler.
Mhm.
With Grish and Artavis, and not knowing what he's limited to or not, but your play reminds me a lot of Artavis, especially when he was a freshman. The plays he was able to make early. Just what do those two guys mean to you and your development at Clemson?
Man, they've honestly brought me a long way. Grish and Artavis both, man, just guided me, man. I would say Grish. I mean, he's one of the hardest working people I know, man. He on that film day in and day out. He loves his room, man. He loves his players. So that makes you wanna run through a wall for him. And Artavis, man, he knows what he's talking about as well, man. He's just that experience he has, they both have, and just being able to learn from both of them, just uh, pull out of their bags, put it into mine, and
Hmm.
I'm in a great place, honestly, man. And just their experience, man. I want to go back on that. It's amazing to have that leading you each and every day.
Tyler, we love to hear it. You've been fun to talk to. You seem like a humble guy, and you understand kind of what you're doing, but you're not making too much of it with that kind of crazy catch and all that. Where does that come from? You talk about your dad and him, bleeding orange or purple. Where does that humility that I'm sensing come from?
I give all credit to my parents, man. They keep me level headed. Never let my highs get too high. Never let my lows get too low, man. Just you gotta. At the end of the day, the day's gonna go on, so you gotta keep pushing.
Mhm.
That's amazing. What do you want to do when you grow up? Last one for you. We'll get you out of here. When you're all said and done, you play 20 years in the league. What do you want to do, man? Because you're impressive as a young man, just hearing you talk right here.
I just want to give back, man. I just want to be able to just help others and just see others, give others the opportunity that I have. I definitely want to be in the back in the football area. So maybe a coaching job, or I don't know. I'm not really sure about that, but definitely just being able to have an impact on lives for sure.
Yeah. Well, you got
You
some
don't
time.
have to
So I
know
think you're
yet.
going to be
Yeah,
playing.
yeah.
You're going
You
to be
got
playing
time.
for a little bit. You're in school for a little bit. Tyler, this was so much fun, man. Great talking to you. Great meeting you. And appreciate your time today.
I appreciate y'all for having me. Thank y'all.
Thanks again to Tyler Brown for joining us. And truly, his schedule was so packed, Mac. It was like he had to find 30 minutes, and that was the only 30 minutes of his day. So the fact that he gave it to us was really, really nice. And cool that he grew up a Clemson fan. He said he came out of the womb bleeding orange and purple when he got that offer. Why didn't he commit right away? I feel like so many people don't want to commit on the spot. You kind of are playing hard to get. But if you know, you know. That's what they say.
You know. When you know, you know. What was your commitment story quickly, KG?
So it's funny because I wanted to commit on the spot, but I was like, I'm going to wait because I'm going to be cool, right? And then I was driving, my mom and I were driving back to the Atlanta airport. And then I called my coach and was like, I want to commit. So I don't know why I should have just done it in person.
Yeah.
So silly. What about
awesome. You? We, same. I was ready right then and there, but it was weird because I had decommitted, from Tennessee. And so I didn't want to just leave.
Right.
I know, dating other people, break
you
up.
You were truly playing hard to get.
Else. I was playing a little hard to get. It's okay. But I knew like this was it. And so we drove down, I think it was like a week later. I don't even remember what they had going. Maybe it was the spring game, something. We drove right back down and committed on the spot. Broke into a staff meeting. Coach came out. I said, I'm all in. He's doing backflips, excited. And I don't know why he was so excited, but he was. And I was too. It was cool. So that was a fun day. TB, you should have just did it, big dog. You could have set a precedent there for everybody.
That's okay. It's okay, though. He
That's right.
came, and that's what matters.
That's right.
And Mac, he is Clemson's best wide receiver right now. I think that's fair to say. And it seems like he does have a really good connection with Cade Klubnik. This game, Clemson versus number 20 North Carolina, 3:30 p.m. on Saturday. Clemson's a 6.5-point favorite. It's so funny when you look at this game just out of context, if you will. You've got a ranked 8-2 North Carolina, an unranked 6-4 Clemson, and Clemson's favored by almost a touchdown. I think a lot of that has to do with how Clemson's been playing. They are ascending, that's for sure, and the Death Valley factor. It reminds me of 2 years ago when Clemson hosted, I believe, a top 20 Wake Forest and beat them, but Wake still went on to win the Atlantic because of the overall season, and Clemson kind of dominated that game. It reminds me a little bit of that, Mac.
Yeah. I think that's a great comparison, especially when you look at how and why and all those different things. Kind of looking at the Tiger side first and them ascending, like you said, that was fun to hear from Tyler, kind of inside the locker room a little bit. Now, he didn't tell us a bunch of details, nor what I wanted him to. But just to kind of hear about Coach Swinney. And listen, I talked to Don Munson earlier on radio on Sirius XM, and he said, hey, we've had salty Dabo Swinney the last couple of weeks. And that's his best version when he gets to just get in there, nitty gritty, doesn't care about feelings. He's coaching, and he's coaching hard because of how competitive he is. I mean, he is fierce in everything that he does once to a certain point. And I think there's a little bit, about that with success and all these different things. And maybe you feel like you don't have to wake up and cuss somebody out. Not that he cusses at people. But at the end of the day, it was do or die time. And Coach felt like, hey, I've got to set the tone walking into this building and let everybody know, change everything, what you're doing, because it's not working. Because we got to get back on track. Too talented, too good of people, too successful of a program, to fall by the wayside and just let this season go away. So you're seeing them fight. And Don also said that, Coach Swinney kind of laid it out there that this is like a playoff stretch. Next year when it's a 12-game or a 12-team playoff, there's the potential to play 4 games, that you have to play 4 games. Let's make that November. Let's find out what kind of team we are, go on this type of run and see what we can do. And, we're in the midst of seeing the 2 best game stretch from Clemson all year by far and ascending, like you said. So can they continue to challenge that? Obviously a very good offense coming to town. I thought Georgia Tech's was as well, but, this one is led by, I think, the number 1 pick in the NFL draft coming up in Drake May, and the things that he is able to do, silky smooth. I mean, every pass that he can make on the football field is effortless. His movement in the pocket is so subtle, but then it's the creativity. That's the part that I think people are most wary of, most afraid of, is KG, you might have 2 or 3 people on him, bringing him down, and right before that knee hits, boom, ball's out and touchdown. You're just like, what? That was a sack. Any other quarterback, he's down.
With the left hand.
With the left. He just looks at it and stares at it and say, yeah, I'm like that. I'm like that. And so that's worrisome. You've seen this great defensive line from Clemson. I think being a little bit undervalued, KG, just from a production standpoint, because they don't have, the gaudy sacks or stat numbers there, but they've been very effective, shutting down the run, being stout up front. I think these last 2 games, we see them even take another step, maybe particularly at the defensive end position. And then you've got a couple of linebackers, maybe Barrett Carter's back, maybe not, but having him, Wade Woodaz and Jeremiah Trotter, Trotter's playing out of his mind right now. I mean, this guy, kind of similar to last year, he really started to ascend towards the end of the season. I would say since about halftime, he looks like the best linebacker in the country, and just the way he reads, how smart he is, how aggressive, his pursuit and angles. So I can't wait to see that matchup. You're talking about great on great, not just good on good with electricity. I didn't even mention Amarian Hampton yet, or these great wide receivers for UNC, but they're loaded in every form or fashion. And why I think it might be a little bit different from the total, domination that we did see from a very similar Clemson team as last year in the ACC championship,
right,
is UNC can run the ball. It's not just that one-dimensional offense that we saw so handcuffed at the end of the year, that 4-game losing stretch, they've got balance. They can do whatever they want there. So you can't just drop 8 and say, Drake, figure it out, try to find these windows, because they will run the ball all over you if that's what you do. So I can't wait, KG, to see that chess match. Clemson defense, UNC offense.
Omar and Hampton, to me, is an X factor because they can run the ball this year, Mac. I stand by this defense being better than last year. They looked like it surely in the first couple of months, not as much in the last few weeks, but I do think they are better. The matchup that I'm super interested in are these young Clemson DBs. Because of injuries, they're playing all these young guys, and they've shown out. But these young DBs against Drake May and these really talented wide receivers. When you look at Tez Walker, Nesbitt has been playing great at tight end for North Carolina. So that matchup for me is huge. And then UNC has struggled. Bless you, that was my baby. He's down there. UNC has struggled to slow down the run recently. They've played some really good running teams. Duke, of course, Georgia Tech. But Clemson's going to try to run the ball. And with Maffa and Shipley both there, both healthy, that's going to be a tough task, I think, for UNC. If Clemson can run it like they want to, I'm not sure there's a way UNC wins this game if Clemson does that.
Right. And just to quickly go back to that defense and looking at, Avian Terrell potentially starting against Tez Walker. Okay, get ready. Big dog, you better get ready and understand leverage and, have that mentality of, hey, even if he makes a big play, I have to keep going. I cannot slow down. I cannot think about, what just happened, because Tez is too good and Drake is too good, as we see baby Jacob. Hey, cutie pie. He can't hear me because he doesn't have headphones in, but he's a stud.
I needed to calm him down a little bit. He wanted to talk some Clemson, North Carolina.
He looks great.
So
listen, I get excited too. If Amelia was in here, she would want to talk. But so that I'm looking forward to that matchup and just seeing, how quickly does he grow up. And then on the Clemson offensive side, continuing to see growth from Cade Klubnik. Obviously, when you look at last year, he outdueled Drake May in this head-to-head with a touchdown and very efficient. I think he had 3 incompletions, was like 24-27, something of that nature. Drake, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. Not sure if we'll see that again. But, Cade continuing to get more comfortable, get the ball to his great playmakers. And then, as you said, that running attack, Clemson's offensive line since the Notre Dame game, or starting with the Notre Dame game, plugging those 2 new guards in that have been on fire. Great to see that offensive line playing much better, and the running attack between Maffa and Shipley. I think that it was close to perfect. I might maybe wanted a little bit more here and there, different, skill set wise from Shipley and Maffa in last game. But that was a great snapshot of what I thought all season would be from those 2, how they were used, different things that they were used. So I think Clemson continues to build on that and, has some real momentum going in this game, KG.
Mac, I am with you 100%.
He's strong. He's strong.
I think
He's figuring it out.
It might be time to go. He is trying to grab all the equipment. I'm so sorry, everybody. If you think this is unprofessional, it probably is. But
no, this is elite parenting.
Happen.
This is podcast parenting. Jacob, do you have anything you want to say? Take that passy out. Let's see. Can you say anything to us, Jacob?
He might say some goo-goos and some, where's my milk? That's going to be Jacob. He is a Clemson fan, so.
Big Clemson fan. Been to a Clemson game early in his life. He's born into it. A lot like Tyler Brown. Anyway, big shout out again to Tyler. Thank you so much for your time. Ross Taylor for making it happen. Big week, 4-episode week. If you missed Ashton Gelati in Louisville, we discussed that yesterday on Wednesday. Obviously, they have a massive game going to Miami. And Kelly, since we've last spoke, that game has moved again. And now Miami are the favorites. We'll see. I still have no clue what I'm doing in that game. We'll talk about it tomorrow on Friday. We're going to break all these games down, even these 2 that we've already talked about, just a little bit more, get you guys ready for the great weekend. And then next week, it's rivalry week. It's also Thanksgiving. So shout out to everybody. Hope you have a stress-free holiday.
Oh, yeah.
Get some
we'll
good
have one
turkey.
more episode before Thanksgiving. So
That's right. Maybe.
We'll have a few more.
We'll have 2 more.
I can't do any more right now.
Can't wait. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Anyway, appreciate you guys tuning in. We need your help. Go over to YouTube, subscribe, jump on the channel, have some fun. You get to see baby Jacob. You don't get to do that anywhere else but here on YouTube. So check that out. And, of course, the OGs over on Apple Podcasts. Rate, review, subscribe there as well. We would greatly appreciate that. But until next time, we'll see y'all.